Hey guys, welcome back to ArtosisCasts. This is pretty fun. We have Snow in the top left and we have Jaedong in the bottom right. In and of itself, a great game to be casting. But then you have to take into consideration, and this was a ladder best of three. 3 games between these two in a row. I'll be casting them all over the coming days. So hope that you guys enjoy. We're on Invader here as the first map. Of course, they can't really choose maps since the ladder will randomly assign it for them. But yeah, they did hit each other 3 times in a row. And when I say best of 3, well, I don't know that. It could be a 3-0. Okay, so it's 3 games. It's 3 games. Anyways, I hope that you guys are enjoying the channel and all the games that have been coming out. I feel like we've been really lucky with them overall. A lot of really interesting games, some great off-race matches and things like that. A lot more exciting stuff to come as well. And thank you so much, guys, for leaving comments, for liking the video, for subscribing and hitting that notification button. It really warms my heart to see the channel continue to grow, continue to do well, and lots of people kind of refine their passion in StarCraft 1, whether that is to, reinstall it, download it, and boot up the ladder, or whether that is to just watch some pro games and kind of keep up with what the scene is doing right now. Obviously a big nostalgia trip for people, but also the game is still played at such a ridiculously high level. It is actually one of the most viewed esports in the world, although most of those viewers are Korean. We're doing our best here at ArtosisCasts to make up that gap a little bit at least. And honestly, I have obviously I have a lot of passion for Brood War, but I honestly believe that Brood War can continue to grow in the foreign scene. It feels like it's doing very well right now, and it's become completely obvious that there will never be another game like Brood War, right? Like, we know the way that new RTSs are made and the directions that all the people who are passionately making RTSs are taking. So, like, this is the one and only as far as games that are like this. So yeah, I think that your guys' support, it really helps. It really helps to kind of drive this forward, get it before more eyeballs and all that. Now, we have to talk about this opener because this opener is insane while I was talking about all that. Okay, so Jaedong went hatchery first here. Snow's probe was down scouting, saw that, and went Nexus first. And then Jaedong decided, I'm going to go double hatchery before the spawning pool. And Snow went Nexus first into Gateway, no Forge. No Forge. It's crazy. In fact, he's going to get a Cybernetics core here. Look at that. Literally Nexus first into Gateway Cybernetics core. This is generally only a build that you could ever use against Terran. Okay, Terran has the weak early game rushes, the weak early game units. But here Snow is doing it against one of the most legendary aggressive Zergs in the world, Jaedong. But Jaedong is playing so greedily himself, he has nothing at all that could possibly punish this. And in fact, the first Zealot gets started before any Zerglings get started on Jaedong's side. He is starting to make a few now, but both these guys are going to just run away with their economies. It's kind of crazy, and I can't wait to see where they want to go. But like this economic boom is so large from Jaedong, for instance, he has no opportunity to do something like a 3-hatch Hydra play. It's just his pool timing is like so late, he can't really deny any scouting. He's getting his hatchery so quickly, he's just going super heavy on the drones. So Snow, of course, is going to have a good idea about that there's not really any realistic expectations of a very quick Hydra bust. Now look at this, he's getting his Citadel very quickly. No Stargate as of yet. Isn't that interesting? With no Stargate going up, like, we might actually see Snow do something like a 3 to 4 gate speed lot pressure here, and that would be very exciting. I remember a game from a there it is, legs. I think he's going to add 2 gates here. But I remember a game from a very long time ago. It was on Shin Peaks of Baekdu, and it was by Jaedong is the one that played it. He was an up-and-coming Protoss player way back in the Kespa days, maybe 2007, 2008, that era. And he had this build where he went 4 Gateway speed lot. and just ran them around the map like crazy, harassing the Zerg. It looked like someone with mass vultures or something, just running around killing stuff. And it was super, super cool. Now, that's not exactly what Snow is doing here. It is like the quickest speed and +1 I've basically ever seen, but he is getting that the Stargate, right? So he is gonna be kind of ready to go ahead and scout for any Mutalisks and possibly counter Mutalisks with that as well. Of course, the Spire is being made here as well. But the fact that he's going to have that +1 attack so that his Zealots can 1- or 2-shot Zerglings, and then also the legs so they can just completely dictate the flow of the game. I'm looking at these builds, and again, there's nothing wrong with Jaedong's build, but I feel like Snow has really nailed it, right? It really does feel that way. Even though he's only on one gate right now, I find it so interesting. He's going to go ahead and add another one. There is the Templar Archives. He is getting double gas already. And Jaedong coming up with those speedlings. +1 is not done yet, but he does get those legs to finish. No Sunkens as of yet. Jaedong bringing out so many lings. If he engages before the +1 is done, he should be able to take a relatively nice trade here. But if he waits, it is going to be a problem. Now, Jaedong brings up his drones and locks these in there. Look at that, a nice drill as well. The Zergling is going to continue to connect, but the Zealots turn and start to fight the drones here a little bit as well. Scourge popping out right now, so he knows that the Spire is done at least. And honestly, there wasn't even a single drone kill. That was all Zerglings. And there are a lot of Zerglings that have been made. So that is something that we should keep track of. 26 drones against 43 probes. So a much better economy at this moment for Snow. But of course, Jaedong's is spread over 3 bases. That's a good number of drones for this early in the game. And he can very easily drone up from here as well, right? He's already on 6 hatcheries here, less than 7 minutes into the game. So right now, Snow is getting that +1 ship weapons for his Corsairs. He's adding more gates. There is a Dark Templar out. Here it is. Is there? Yeah, that's just a Zealot running around. But he does have a Dark Templar out. He is making the Corsairs to counter these mutas. Jaedong, in the meantime, is getting Carapace for those Mutalisks, so that kind of points towards him going mutas, and we can see on that production tab that he is, in fact, going for 5 mutas. So a lot of Scourge coming out as well. Jaedong definitely going to try to swamp over the Corsairs that are sitting back at home for Snow. Now, some nice marker here. Oh, that was the last pixel of vision right there. That was like the furthest I've ever seen a DT killed away from an Overlord. Kind of crazy. Another one tries to enter in here, does get pulled back just barely in the nick of time. That +1 Carapace is not done quite yet, but it is actually ahead of the +1 air weapons. So just to mention, he is going to, when that +1 Carapace is done, the Corsairs are going to have a hard time dealing with everything. Looks like he's going to make an Archon right now. So a little bit nervous about the incoming Mutalisk Scourge. And I tell you, what a wild game. Like, you can see just how greedy both sides have been. Look at Jaedong's upgrades. He's getting Overlord speed, Hydra +1 attack, and Hydralisk speed as well. So just kind of getting everything he wants, flying around with the mutas. He's forced an Archon. He's forcing Corsairs. But really what Snow is going to have to do here is get into Storm. Storm is going to be incredibly important here to stop Jaedong. Okay, the pylon going down here. So it looks like Snow has decided he's going to be taking a 3rd base location. Luckily for him, all 3rd bases on Invader do have gases. Very important for the Protoss vs. Zerg matchup that you get that 3rd gas as soon as possible. Storm is on the way for him as well. He's got that +1 armor almost done for his units. Coming across the map right now, but, you know, look at this. Beautiful Sunken. Hydra's on the ramp with a few lings. This army can't bust in there. Checks over here. Can't bust in here either. Jaedong is perfectly defended all over the place. Now, Snow is trying to harass those Corsairs a little bit. That's with the Archon there, he can do that type of move, because if you try to follow him with the Mutas and Scourge, he'll just fly back over that Archon, and that's going to work pretty well. Now, look at this. He brings up his army to attack those Hydras, tries to go in with the Corsairs to target the Overlords down, but Jaedong instantly turns and targets Corsairs. He was too quick there to end up losing any Overlords, so a very good counterplay. Defends well against that Corsair pressure. Now, the Mutas went across the map, try to get some damage here. Looks like he did turn some targeted High Templars into an Archon. You know, obviously, at this point in the game, you don't want an Archon. What you do, because Archons are bad, by the way, against Hydras. They're very bad against them. Hydras do full damage. They have big range. The Archons do almost nothing. But obviously, it's better to have an Archon than to lose your High Templars. It's just, it's going to be better to have that. It's still going to tank damage. It's still going to deal some damage in there. It's still a reasonable unit, even though it's not what you want against specifically Hydras. So right now he is opening up this area with the eggs. It looks like he needs to get his Archons through there. Hydra's coming up to the front. The Scourge, ooh, getting a pretty good connection on those Corsairs. Only 2 Corsairs remain, but I don't know if we'll see Mutas again here from Jaedong. We're gonna have to wait and see on that. A lot of Hydras coming up, but we do have more Psy Storms. Snow comes up, gets a couple Storms off, makes another Archon, but look at this. He is a couple Storms short because of that additional Archon. If he had 2 more Storms here, he probably pushes those Hydras back relatively easily. And in this case, he will be able to push them back because there's a remaining Dark Templar and no Overlord in sight. There are Overlords coming up now, but the DT really saving the day where the missing 2 High Templars were going to cost him. Now, comes up, you can see how quickly the Archon falls as it engages these Hydras, but with these Zealots getting on top of everything, they are doing a very good job here trading. The other Archon pops quickly here as well. And honestly, this could be a good position for Jaedong to think about making some more Mutalisks, because he's killed off every single Archon at this point. It seems like right now Snow is pretty heavily into Zealot High Templar, but Snow actually started another Corsair during that. So I think he had the same idea that maybe Mutas could be coming again, but we don't see that from Jaedong, who is continuing to pressure the front there with his Hydralisks. Scourge coming up, still just kind of looking, you know, is there anything popping out of the Robo, whether it be a Shuttle or Observer? Are there any Corsairs around here? Maybe you can snipe those. But Snow right now, he's got that third base set up. He's got that gas taken, although he's not mining yet. And Dragoons are the order of the day for him. You know, we see that Dragoon range is actually being upgraded, and Jaedong knows that's what that is. So if he can actually cancel that, that would be a huge power spike for Jaedong, who's getting these Lurkers out. Because obviously the counter to these Lurkers, Snow is planning on being Dragoons. But if he does not have that range upgrade, it's going to be a tough one. Now, the Zealots from Snow coming down and surrounding. A very action-packed game, despite the very kind of slow openers from both sides being as greedy as they can. Running forward now, Jaedong, is he going to target down the Cybernetics Core? He gets it. He gets the Cybernetics Core. And now we don't have Dragoon range. Dragoons without range, so much weaker. You really need that Dragoon range. And you can see Snow right now, he's just making Zealots. There's no point in producing those Dragoons, really, until he can get that range upgrade up. I think that Jaedong just took a bit of an advantage there. One thing to mention, he does have his 4th, but not very heavy drone saturation. So Snow's economy actually is a little bit better. He's on 55 probes. He's got 3 gases up. This is basically 3 base economy for Jaedong, although he is getting into his 4th. So just things to kind of keep in mind here. Like, Snow is going to have a lot of Psy Storms. He has a lot of gas to work with. Now, as Dragoon range starts again, it's going to be a bit. It's 105 seconds for Dragoon range. So, you know, that is not quite 2 minutes that Jaedong has, where basically Snow's attacks are going to be like a little bit neutered, basically, with the Dragoons being a lot weaker. Now, Jaedong bringing a ton of Hydras down into the center of the map. About 3 groups of Hydras there. A little forward group here. This is hunting, right? It's like, okay, do we see a High Templar? Do we see an Observer? What do we see here? Running forward, kind of pushing things back. Snow hasn't seen these Hydras, right? He doesn't know for a fact that those are there, but he is going to gain some intel with these Zealots. These Zealots are running up towards this 3rd base location. This could be a great moment for him. Oh my God, 11 Mutas on the way, by the way. I just saw that. Muta's going to be hatching here for Jaedong. That's going to be big. In the meantime, Jaedong coming in with a gigantic wave of Hydras. What did I say before? He didn't know that these other Hydras were down there. They were very well hidden. And now with the Mutas coming out and picking off those few Zealots that are trying to deal damage at the 3rd base, it feels like Jaedong is getting a huge lead at this point. Dragoon range not quite done yet. But don't forget, Snow has the 3 gases. So even though he's lost some of these key units, even though there have been some things that have gone wrong for him, A 3-gas Protoss is nothing to scoff at. Now, a full group of 11 Mutalisks coming across the map. They have that +1 carapace, but really what they're doing here is looking for kills on High Templars. Look at this. 3 High Templars. See, he's trying to bait. Only 3 of those really take damage. Flies in. Oh! The Archon is so quick there. Another storm goes down, deals damage to about 6 mutas. Ah, my God. Gets in on top. Kills that off, and without the storms, you're not going to hold on against this massive wave of Hydras coming in right now. The Dragoons on that high ground, trying to stand, trying to fight. You know, he's got the high ground position, so maybe he feels like this is his best situation. Gets another storm that comes up, as well as the rallied units. So it looks like between those couple storms, one of which hit the mutas pretty badly, he is going to hold. Now, there's a little counterattack here from Jaedong at the front, at the natural. He picks off a cannon and a High Templar and backs up. Nice tactics there from Jaedong, hitting multiple locations. Snow's army is pretty darn strong right now. Jaedong, by the way, taking this expansion in the top right, spreading his bases a little bit here. Lurker's coming up. Looks like he wants to continue to push this wall some. Zealots and Dragoons. He's going to make sure that he has some observers out. I'm actually looking around and don't really see observers right now. There is one as it pops out. Ooh, that's an excellent storm. Jaedong missing that one completely. So he'll be able to pick that off really quickly. And Snow should be able to push all of this back pretty easily. Don't forget, he has pretty good cannon coverage here, so you need to bring a rather large army. And in fact, he has this High Templar hidden as best it can. It's actually standing behind this middle part purposefully. It just obscures the view. You know, you're looking around very quickly, switching screens very quickly in StarCraft. So little hidden maneuvers like that are really powerful inside of StarCraft. You know, there's actually some amazing places you can hide. You can actually fully hide one behind a geyser sometimes. In certain situations, right, is what I mean by that. Like, obviously, you can hide it behind that little smokestack on the geyser always. Now, up comes Hydra Lurker attack here from Jaedong. He's got those additional mutas he made. He's starting to pick off a lot of units. No Psystorm remains, so the Hydras should be able to trade efficiently here. Slightly better upgrades for the Dragoons, but better scaling upgrades here for those Hydralisks. He is going to be able to knock out this 4th base before it even gets started. Snow cancels that out. The Muta's going across and trying to pick off anything they can. He goes after observers, gets one, doesn't quite get the second one. The High Templar's wasting, well, not wasting a storm, but trying to storm there. Now that base has been cleared. Snow's down to 1 mining location. Look, he's out of minerals. Out of minerals. Here, well, he's definitely going to super saturate it, but he was really hoping to get this base up. Let's take a look at Jaedong's side. Oh, man, this is the thing about Zerg. They don't play with this heavy saturation. So the economy of Jaedong is as good as it's ever been. In fact, better than it's ever been. He is going to be able to continually produce. We were, you know, we were not this far ahead in supply until just recently here. 150 against 117, you know, and don't forget Zerg units, like all these Hydras, these are 1 supply. Everything Protoss has other than the observers, 2 supply, right? So when you see this supply advantage for Zerg, it's not likely that Protoss is going to have a good time there. Definitely looking right now, and look at that, some beautiful micro from Jaedong, picking off some of those High Templars, but some just ridiculous play here from Jaedong. Really looking like he should be able to take this game. This expansion for Snow is going to be absolutely crucial. He must keep this. If this goes down, the game's over. He'll just leave. There's no point because you can't play the 1 base against 4 base. It's not, or in fact, 5 base. I forgot about that one. Sorry. Jaedong has so many Hydras coming over right now. Really, you're just going to need a lot of storms to knock this out. Look at this. Another couple groups coming around the other way as well. That storm is ludicrously good. Look at that. 4 Hydras killed and tons of damage dealt overall. He is pushing into this base. That High Templar that's been hiding there all along has been doing a good job. We need some more storms, though. That one almost has one. That one does not. Oh, a storm there would be absolutely brilliant. Those are so clumped up right now. But the 3rd base is under attack. He's used up all his storms. 15 kills on that High Templar. So Snow is definitely being very cost efficient. And in fact, his cannon's warping. Can he actually hold this base? He's got to hold both, though. He cannot be losing any bases right now. Storms go down onto these Hydras. Really magnificent storms. He's going to kill all the units here. And in fact, he holds this base as well. Absolutely maddening holds here from Snow. definitely, I thought he was going to die with the amount of units that Jaedong was bringing forward, but Snow holds on to fight again another day, but that other day is the same day. Jaedong bringing another couple groups of Hydras up here. How many storms do you have, Snow? Can you continue to hold on? The Archon going to be picked off very, very quickly. There are no photon cannons ready. He's going to target some of them down. Zealot's coming to help out. There are some lurkers up here you might be able to fall back to. Moves forward, trying to pick off that observer so that his lurkers can live forever. Storm goes down on those Hydras, eliminating quite a few. But I think at this point, we're starting to see the writing on the wall, right? Like, Snow has had some awesome, awesome holds here. But the amount of Hydras that Jaedong is sending into the map, Snow's army is getting smaller and smaller. He's not retaining enough valuable high-end units. You know, it feels like he's losing everything when Jaedong's attacking. And if you're not building the quality of your army over time, the Zerg Swarm is going to knock you out. The third Nexus looks like it's going to fall. That's going to leave Snow with just this base. Oh, man, even trying to do some lurker harassment against these probes. Smart move. Smart move brings over the Overlord as well. This is a weakness of that base. Third base is gone. Jaedong moving in for the kill at this point. He's got so many units here. I think he's just going to swarm this, right? Like, you can barely mine at this point. Only a few patches. And Jaedong has such a strong economy. Well, he is starting to run out of some of these patches, so that's good at least. But Snow, you know, he's sitting there on basically one base. In fact, yeah, that's about it, right? It's not even that many probes at that one base. Whereas Jaedong still has two very well mining bases, then a few other patches as well. And that's just keeping Jaedong ahead here. He is up a good 40 supply, and that is not a differential that you normally see overcome in this matchup. The Overlord just kind of positioning itself here to try to help kill off as many probes as possible. The Observer comes down, so he will be able to kill off these lurkers, but look at this. More lurkers coming forward. Burrowing, chasing down these High Templars as they try to retreat. Some good storms go down for sure, but GG is called, and Jaedong takes down Snow.